all the time. Because if you go on her Facebook page and you look at her posts, you will know that this woman does not care about earthly things. And, I mean, obviously we all care about, a little bit about what we look like or whatever, but this woman has a purpose far larger than an earthly purpose. So her Facebook page this second and yesterday her post said, "You think I work against the flow? You're right. I care more about my bank account in heaven than the one here on earth." And she is an author. She's a mom, a grandma. She has auctioneering in her past, public speaking, runs a beautiful farm down in Virginia. And without any further ado, because I know it's already 9:23, I'm going to bring up to the front Miss Lynn Gardner. Welcome, Lynn.
Oh, good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Michael. How you doing today, Jenny? It's great to hear your voice on moderating for Wade, and he's Hawaii. Boy, don't you just feel sorry for him. He's got to come back from Hawaii on this beautiful day. But it's great to be with you guys. Can you imagine, right? And good morning, Sam out there. Well, I don't know if Sam's listening live or who's listening to the recording, but Sam, I want you to know that you continue to be in our thoughts and our prayers. And boy, you on the sidelines. It's great to see your victory, and I know it's a grueling process. And I wouldn't wish on anybody. I'm sure you wouldn't, but we're so proud of you, and we miss you. So good morning again, all you difference makers. Again, it's an honor to be with you guys. You have no idea how blessed I am to be on this side of the call. And I have to pinch myself and say, wow, I get to do it again. It's almost officially spring. Not quite yet, but we're getting there. But our weather in Virginia doesn't seem to know it. The trees are budding. And, it doesn't seem to know the spring's not here yet because it's been in the 60s off and on for the past, few weeks, and things are beginning to sprout and to bloom, and it's kind of crazy overcast. It's a gloomy day, actually, out there, but it's sure not gloomy on the inside if we don't let it be, right? As usual, lots of things have happened in my life since we last gathered together. Many of you know that my son was in a car accident, and he totaled his 10-day-old car, and it was just so, but by the grace of God, he only suffered a pretty serious concussion and some bruising. And if you saw a picture of the car, you know that God's hand of protection was all around my son. He was discouraged more than anything else, to tell you the truth. A 10-day-old car, they had really, fretted over that decision, finally bit the bullet and 10 days toast, right? But, he was discouraged. And so Mama Bear took advantage of that sad situation to preach a lesson on perseverance. He heard so many times in his life that perseverance is not for wussies. And God will use that car accident for his good in dozens of ways if we just focus on the outcome of the accident. We're in the middle of a health scare out there. It was probably the health scare of our decade. The coronavirus is being covered on every news channel across the world, and people are literally in a panic. It's pretty amazing to watch. Major events have been canceled months outside of the event, right? Cruises are being canceled left and right, and, of course, flights have been from high-risk areas for a while. Stores around here, I don't know what it looks like for you. The stores around here are emptied out of, those masks, and they're emptied out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, as if the end of all mankind is on the horizon. And of course, there are always some taking advantage of a bad situation. I said I don't get the urge very often these days to auction, but boy, would I love to have a warehouse full of toilet paper to auction off to this scared world. Anytime there are tragedies, there are plenty of people ready to take advantage of a bad situation, by doing things like price gouging and other things. Be a few people around, much more driven to make money than to fill a need. That's just the nature of the beast. It's never good to do that, but it does exist, right? It's always good to take advantage of a bad situation when you're an entrepreneur. The fear and frenzy wrapped around the coronavirus has inspired the message entitled Taking Advantage of the Bad. To capitalize on something means to take advantage of that situation. It doesn't mean to take advantage of people. It means to take advantage of a situation. I capitalized on my son's situation, and that outcome will have everlasting benefits long beyond the total card. But it always amazes me how few people either don't have a radar or they refuse to use the radar. When a situation comes along that can be used to their business advantage, it so often just slips right by them. They're just kind of in the same mode and they don't see it coming. Naturally, some of it comes down to learning how to fish. You got to understand what kind of fish you're dealing with so that you innovate to feed the fish, right? But more often than not, we go about rattling off what we rattle off every other day. We rattle off about science and we go into high sales gear, and we really never learn to capitalize on a situation, a bad situation. We never really focus on what their needs are. It's important for us to have a sharp radar so that they see the trends or they see the opportunities to capitalize on the bad really long before they happen. So today we're dealing with that coronavirus, and we all have something the world needs, right? Even though they may not know they need it. We all have something they need. Instead of talking sanitizer, most people are out there talking pH and showing pictures and meters and all this stuff. They're missing the chance to take advantage of that bad situation just by talking to the needs. The need is a hand sanitizer. So if there's ever been a time for you to highlight the advantages of your product, it's right now at this moment. We have to kind of, work with the trends, if you will, work with the things that are out there making the news, work with the bad situations everybody's hearing about, and then we talk to the need. But the radar isn't up, so the language doesn't match the problem, and most people are missing out on it for sure. Free hand sanitizer is a good thing, empty shelves, and you have a hand sanitizer that's been proven to kill MRSA, typhoid, the AIDS virus, salmonella, even E. coli. You don't need to say that it's a coronavirus or make it medical. It's pretty obvious out there. You could quote our medical advisor if you want to do that, but it's already proven. Capitalize on that. It's time for you to talk about what you have. Put everything else aside for a minute. If you have one of those microscopes like Tamia was, showing out there, you could show people what you have. Man, I'll tell you what a combination that would be. If you had a microscope and 2.5, you could just be building a tremendous business off of that bad set. Write about what you have. If you out there on Facebook, if you're sending emails to your team, if you're blogging or doing anything else in between, and lose all that expert ionizer language just for now. Offer to give away that free hand sanitizer. Capitalizing on this bad situation could paradigm shift for you and your business that could surprise you if you just lose all the rest and talk to the problem. But it takes raising that radar up to see when it's time to take advantage of a bad situation by doing good. As a mama bear, when I saw my baby boy, thank God he's okay, right? And I saw that car. Time to get all these lessons. He hit black ice, by the way, and he spun into a tree. But it could have been all this wisdom, about what do you do and call the insurance and what is this and what is that. But I knew immediately to take advantage of that bad situation with a spiritual lesson for good because my radar is up. Right now, people are and those shelves are empty. Why would you not take advantage of the opportunity to show the world what you have? Entrepreneurs follow what's going on in the world. We keep our hand on the pulse, and if we can spend our product or services for the times, you better believe we do it. You'll see a good example of that if you ever focus on my blog. I follow the news, and I write about what's trending so I can capitalize on the press that's already out there. If it's something about autism, I write about autism. If it's a food scare, a certain product, a listeria or whatever, I write about that. If it's a pollution problem, I'm hammering that home. If it's a problem with the food chain, I capitalize on the bad situations, and frankly, I built a respectable audience of 32,000 people on that blog because of it. I take advantage of the bad situations. Science is making great progress on other things too, right? I mean, it's mind-boggling what's going on out there. But I have a friend who's doing stem cell research and actually people going into Mexico to receive treatment more affordably, right? It's amazing to look at this kind of stuff. But science is a big buzz going on, right? It's incredible to see, and people using stem cells they can even grow teeth back, okay? It's a big deal. It's big news in the wellness industry. So today, there are multiple stem cell products out there stepping into the market. A few people capitalizing on that stem cell therapy being big news, and they'll make a good check for a season. Anytime there is a scare about bottled water, contamination or where it really comes from or the abuse of the water, well, it's time to spin your product as if it's the only viable solution, and you need to believe that it is. It's not time to go into science and compare what you have to the water that's in a plastic bottle. It's time to present the only viable solution to know that you have safe and healthy water 24/7. Be a product of the product, and you've got to spend that solution instead, taking advantage of a bad situation. In a much different way, and for many different reasons, Jesus was able to take advantage of plenty of bad situations to prove that he was the Son of God. He wasn't showing off. He wasn't arrogant. He had the right heart, and there were times to show himself as God. Sometimes he told others to be quiet about those miracles. Don't tell anybody. Don't run off and tell people what you saw. While other times there was absolutely no keeping them quiet. It was just out there, right? And when he fed the multitudes, for instance, 5,000 men plus the women and children, we have no idea of knowing how many people fed them using a little fish and a loaf of bread. He wasn't showing off, that's for sure. But that bad situation was turned into one of the most beautiful miracles of all times. When the centurion asked Jesus, he's a military guy, right? And he said, man, one of my soldiers is sick and he needs you, you can heal him. And Jesus, and Jesus said, well, yeah, I'll get there. I'll come there after I'm here, right? And the centurion said, well, why do you got to do that? You can heal him from here. And just heal him now. And he did. And that bad situation also turned into a beautiful miracle of how he doesn't have to be in the room. He can heal from afar, right? But that one of Oliver North that led him to his faith in a tent in a battlefield in Vietnam, that one miracle that he read about, a bad situation spinning for good is always a good. It's not a bad thing to take advantage of bad situations if we do it with the right heart. Again, we saw a great example of that with our friend Sam. Advantage of a bad situation, a broken hip, pain and misery, as he shared his faith from a hospital bed. It's not a bad thing to take advantage of a bad situation. In our world today, the wrong heart would gouge people, with high-priced hand sanitizers and warehouses full of toilet paper to be auctioned off, right, Jude, of other things. But a good heart will set a strategy to share what they have to take advantage of, right? A good heart will do that. When you think about it, if we're all set and our real role is to find a need and fill it, offering the solutions, if you will, we are taking advantage of a bad situation. We're good. That's what the need is. The need is a bad thing, right? And we have an answer for that. Everything we do as entrepreneurs should have a spin to it, a spin toward the needs, not the deeds. The world has an environmental problem. Take advantage of it. Talk about it. You have a solution for that. The world has health problems. Take advantage of it. The world has financial problems. Take advantage of that and talk about it. And the world has a coronavirus, and it's time for you to be taking advantage of that. It's a short season, and you have a solution. Any situation in any market with any product can thrive if you learn to get that radar up there and talk the problem for a short season, not everything. Listen, Jesus talked to the needs, that needs at hand over and over again to drive home a message, no doubt about it, right? But he didn't just confuse a message by talking about all the lessons rolled into one, which is what many of you are attempting to do with your product. Instead, he taught it with a need to the problem. It was profound. He didn't go dancing off in a dozen different directions, even though as God, he could certainly do that. He focused, and so you need to do the same thing. When people are running scared, they want solutions. They need them. And it's really sad to see them not afraid, right? Probably won't slow down to hear from you about the benefits to the immune system. That's not what they're afraid about. But that can come in time if you build their trust by providing the need today. Sadly, that low-hanging radar system also helps people keep from seeing the spiritual needs of other people too. With an agenda, and we don't even know what the needs are. We have no idea where these people are coming from, and we start talking to our own agenda. I saw that here recently at the farm. We had a ladies' fellowship, and frankly, it had been a while since I really gathered people together here locally at the farm, and it was a wonderful event of people that I before, which is always awesome, and people that I hadn't seen in a while. And it took a little bit of time, we're having a good time, there's food to eat, but it took just a little bit of asking the right questions, and boy, did I see the needs. That's what it's all about, folks, is trying to figure out what is the need so we can actually, physically, financially, in every way. So are you out there busy trying to drown the needs with water before you even know what the needs are? And I'm guessing some of you are. We kind of get in a trap of this is the way we do it. We remember being younger and hearing older people say, well, why do you do that? Well, that's just the way. And that's kind of the phase that so many people are in, where they can't step aside and learn a new way. They can't step aside and look at things in a different way. But as an entrepreneur, you know what? You can't afford not to. So I was only joking about auctioning off a warehouse full of toilet paper. I wouldn't do that. But I'm not joking when I say that I capitalize on trends. They take advantage of situations. And everybody on this call needs to do the same thing with the right heart. Listen, we live in a dark world, and people like me are taking advantage of it. I know what the dark world needs, and the only solution for this dark world is Jesus Christ. So I write about him, I talk about him, thing in between, so that I can capitalize on the bad by introducing the good. Listen, we live in a sick world, and people like me are capitalizing on it. I know what the sick world needs, and I write about it, I talk about it, and everything in between with a spin toward what's, running in the news today. We live in a world filled with debt, not a healthy economy, and a low lot of debt. $14 trillion of consumer debt out there right now. One little mishap in the lives of so many Americans, and they will stumble and fall and see destruction. I know what the financially volatile world needs, and I write about it, I talk about it, and everything in between. So do you guys on the bad situations, or do you continue to sing the same tune no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what need you could be filling today? There are so many needs out there. And if you're working your business with purpose, you're going to see them. If you're walking out your faith with purpose, you're going to see them. So take it, of all of that so that you can reach as many people as you possibly can. You reach them, guys, by focus, not by a broad message, right? You reach it by a focus, and you focus on the needs today. And you want to reach as many people as you possibly can in and out of your business. And so that's it for me. You need to take advantage of the bad situations with a good heart.
Wow. You are so right on with all of this, Lynn. It's incredible. And I know I've watched some real great wins from people who have been making posts that focus on what's happening right now, and they're getting responses from people that have been just sitting in the wings watching, and now they're ready to act. And I mean, there is no greater time than now for us to sell ionizers, and you know what? We're not just selling ionizers. We're transforming lives. We're selling a whole new lifestyle with health. We're selling eco-friendly, and it's so great. I think I said it on this call the other day. I put one post on Facebook, and I knew that there had been a couple people sitting on the fence, and I just wrote something like, my greatest fear is that we're going to sell out of ionizers, and the people that have been sitting on the fence are going to be regretting this. And one comment too, and the third comment was I'm on it. Call me. When can we talk? And the woman ordered her ionizer in less than 24 hours. She got a platinum single payment. I'm like, whoa, that worked.
That's right. Well, yeah, because you were talking to the need, all the things that you had shared before, luxury of time. But when there's a bad situation, the luxury of time goes away. So that was a brilliant post, to get people off the fence, at such a time as this. And it's, I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of people are probably ruffled up, it's a time to be compassionate. I'm compassionate. Listen, we don't want a contest on compassion. I'm compassionate, but I'm also a business person, and I know how you need to spin and you need to focus, just like you did, Jenny, with that post, taking advantage of that bad situation to say, that's my biggest fear, and boom, the people who thought they had the luxury of time no longer had the luxury of time. And so that's just the way. You can't go out. Yeah, you just can't. Listen, even, again, Jesus went out and lived life just like we're supposed to be living lives, right? We go from here to there, and he taught the lessons of the only hope we have, right? But he didn't just go out and spill everything into the same message, and that's what so many people stepping back and looking at, okay, what is the bad thing I can fill? What is the bad situation I can make good? And you're just pouring everything out at the same time, and it's losing its power. Okay, so you've got to see where you are, what is the situation, how can I take advantage of this in a good way, and talk to the needs.
That's absolutely so powerful. I mean, there's going to be so many posts. I just love watching people's posts, and we can't make like the medical claims, obviously, but I know Jason Videra just put out a great post with a beautiful picture of a platinum, and he just wrote something about the corona hysteria. So if you guys follow, and definitely follow Lynn Gardner, it's Lynn. There's two N's in Lynn. Gardner, Gardner. And Lynn, you have some amazing books, and I remember reading the first book that I read of yours and calling you up and just saying, like, this was just absolutely amazing. And we talked for hours on the phone. Can you brief overview of your books that you have? Because you've got Amazon bestsellers, you've got books that help people on a spiritual level, you've got books that help people on a magic level with the toilet taps. Right?
That's a tongue twister. That's an auctioneer's auctioneer's challenge. Toilets, taps, and trash. Yeah, you know what is so cool, because everything I do, of course, is I have a big goal in mind, and I'll talk about the books in just a second. But I was I get a lot of new people. I try to get new people into my life by going into like group posts and commenting on this group post about writing a book. I mean, how do you write a book? And so somebody asked a question that I could answer, and I said, I'm just, if I can do it, I wrote these 3 titles. If I can do it, you can do it. And this one woman private messaged me from that group, and she said, can you please tell me again how to get a copy of 12 Steps to Climbing Out of the Dark Place? I'm just overcome with depression, and I don't know what to do. And I was able to minister to that woman from some simple little post encouraging other people that they could write a book, right? It was so incredible. Then at the Ladies Fellowship, people, I'd never met before, conversation just went in all kinds of different directions. And this one woman started opening up, and she suffers from the aftermath of being molested as a child. And so I listened to her. I didn't interrupt her, let her pour her heart out. And then I said, you know what? I know exactly how you feel because I've been there and done something for you. And I handed her the book, and she has wept since she left here with that book. So, guys, hey, I've got books out there. There's going to be a lot more books coming out, by the way. I'm just full of books, right? But, it's always about, it's not about making money. Believe me, when you do this, if you have a desire to write a book, through the Living Larger course, I can help you with that. But, you're not going to be making millions of dollars, okay? And we're not talking New York Times bestsellers list. But if you have a story that needs to get out, for me, it was first walking on water, which is my testimony that I was talking about, I shared with this lady, right? And then there is 12 steps to climbing out of the dark place. We deal with addiction and some things like that with practical steps to help us get there. And I'm not trying to say nobody ever needs medication, but it's a look at how you can practically kick yourself into gear. In other words, why? Because I've been there and done that too. And then, of course, toilets, taps, and trash. And that is that's been a game changer for mine and a game changer, I think, for a lot of people. You don't have to worry, guys. I don't come off as being someone representing this product. I come off as being like the semi-water expert. And when we got that book to go #1 on Amazon, the world sees me as that, right? So it's in other words, you can use that book for your business. Fearless. I'm not touting myself and not offering products, but you can find all of those things. You just type in my name on Amazon is the best way with one of the titles. As you can imagine, there are plenty of Lynn Gardners out there, so it'll be Lynn Gardner, and then maybe put Walking on Water. When you put one title in, they'll all come up, and I'm super, super excited about it. I'm getting real excited about the event. If anything, Jenny, that's what's starting to excite me. It gets me scared. I mean, the spring starts coming. I'm like, holy moly, all the work's going to start around here. But I have not stopped hearing amazing things, kind of testimonials from the last event in October about those things. And so it's like, wow, I can't wait to see what happens at the event here in October 9th, 10th, and 11th, guys. And listen, if you're sitting back and you've never been to the event and you say, I don't think I'd like it, give it one chance, because a lot of people were dragged here kicking and screaming by somebody else who will say, I could never miss this event. It's a time for, it is for our business, but it's more about, equipping you, strengthening you for the journey. And we'll have some of the best in our industry. I'm so excited. Wade and Jenna will be back here this year, and a whole bunch of others. So you can find at livingwatersfarmevent.com. So I'm excited. I'm living a life. What can I say? I'm living a life with purpose, Jenny.
Oh, you certainly are, and it's wonderful to see your view on life from the farm. And for those of you that are on Facebook, if Lynn, just check her out and get these books, because I even ordered these books on Kindle. So that wherever I am, if I don't have the book in my back pocket, it's always right there where I can get it on my cell phone or on my iPad, and I can show people specific things about each one of your books. And as far as the Enagic business goes, obviously, like toilet taps and trash, it's fantastic. And it doesn't say go to see Lynn Gardner to buy an ionizer. So it's very safe, guys. You can use it for your own business. You can use it in presentations. So that's great. Well, you know what?
Absolutely.
We 10 minutes left, and I know there are probably people here that want to say thank you. Or, guys, do you have any kinds of questions for Lynn? Like, Lynn is an expert in so many things. She's an expert in personal branding and the Lord and life. And so if you have any questions, just put right now. I see one caller coming up, and that is Shane. So we do have room for a couple more questions or comments. So, Shane, good morning.
Good morning. Hopefully I'm audible.
You
good
are?
Morning,
yes,
Jenny.
Shane.
Wonderful.
How you doing?
Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Lynn. So much. And I wanted to share with the listeners, too, that, Lynn, you and I connected over the phone, and you actually helped me in the beginning of my business. So I appreciate it so much for helping me get my start, started on the right foot because of your, I appreciate that so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you.
And you're so blessed to have your son with you today. I did see the wreck. And that's amazing. Yeah, that's definitely God's hand in that. And I always tell people when they get to a close, well, God spared you for a special reason. So God has a very, very special purpose for your son.
Yes, it does.
And
yes, it does.
Yes. And I know that one of the things is to carry your legacy on. And what a legacy you're leaving with all of us in our hearts. And I appreciate you so much.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You touched my heart, Shane. My goodness. You're right, and that's the way to look at it, is just, hey, we're not in this life for ourselves. It's something so much bigger than ourselves. And so with you, for instance, I forgot all about that. And, of course I would help you because I'm not in this life for myself. It's bigger than myself.
Exactly.
And
that's what your message is today. Is that we're all in fear. I have a guy that was buying a machine from me, and sudden his stock, the stocks that he has is more important. So I got on the phone. I left it alone, but I got on the phone and I left him a message and I said, "Listen, guy, listen. We need to put I do too. I when I tell people something, I tell them this is what I Lord." In a message to the Spirit, because we need to really focus on what's important, okay, is our health. Don't be so focused on stock. I totally understand. I'm not a big player in the stock, but, man, I have a lot of friends that are, and it's like they're just so engulfed in it. And I'm like, okay, yes, it's money. Yes, it's money for your future and your family, and I understand. But you can't enjoy that if you don't have your health. And if you don't have your immune system boosted, then you are going to be susceptible to a virus, or it could be a bacteria. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal of one virus. We should be concerned with everything. that's toxic around us. And what do we need to do? What's our biggest advantage? It's not a vaccine. It's not a magic pill. It's our immune system. So if we can, anything that can boost our immune system, need to do. And what are we mostly made of? Water.
Water. Mhm.
So
that's true, but
water,
yeah, I mean, it's just, we just have to go out, again, addressing the needs and having the right heart. I tell people all the time, they say only less than 10% of people out there actually share their faith. They actually share the gospel. That's very sad. But, when you do, you see how many times it's rejected. It's not embraced. It's rejected more often than not. And that's the same thing that happens in our business. It don't stop. And we don't say, well, we need to better ourselves and always be sure that we're presenting things in the right way with the right heart, right? But we can't control the outcome. And so even something as significant as the gospel, so many people put other things before that. But when you plant the seed, the Bible said not return void. So when you share it, it's not returning void. And I believe that as we're out there working a business with purpose and we share, more people are going to reject this and are going to say yes, but that doesn't mean the seed's still been planted. And unfortunately, in the health world, sometimes it takes losing your health to listen. In a look, it wasn't a health thing, but she's out there dealing with the trying to share what she has, and it wasn't until the threat of maybe it going away that got people to step up. So timing is always everything, no matter what our message is, and we can't control the outcome. We can just continue to go forward with the right heart.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Shane, for your comments. And we have 3 more people, and I'll tell you what the order is: Michael Johnson, Johnny Z, and Rhonda Price, okay? So we've got 6 more minutes with 3 more people, so hang on 1 second.
Thank you, Jim.
Michael Johnson.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good morning again. Good morning, Miss Lynn. And you always have just the right words to say that need to rattle our cage a bit, so that gives us a different way of thinking and a different way of looking. And I know that in the many conversations that you and I have had over the last years, I still have the boot prints on my backside, so I know that's and it's all with love and inspiration to say, hey, pay attention, do this, and let God help you take care of other people. And I thank you each and every single day. So thank you, Miss Lynn.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the message this morning. I appreciate it so much, and you're a blessing.
That's beautiful, Michael. Thank you so much. And it looks like Johnny Z dropped off, so we have Rhonda Price. And good morning, Rhonda.
Hi. It's funny it comes up like that. My name is actually Juliet. I live in California, and I just wanted to say to you, Lynn, thank you so much for writing that book, Walking on Water. My dad gave it to me for Christmas this last year, and I finally started to read it about a week ago. I'm going to finish it up today. I left. And it has been wonderful to read it. It's very emotional for me. And I just, I can relate to a lot of things in there. And it's just really touched my heart. I've laughed, I've cried, I've shouted out to the devil to just leave, and thanked God and praised him for everything in my life. And I just wanted to say thank you for putting that out there in the world. And you've actually inspired me to start my own book. So,
that's awesome.
For anyone,
well, look at God.
Yeah.
See, thank you so much for sharing that. Because again, I don't do this I don't do this for any notoriety. Believe me, guys, been there, done that. Okay, and I'm not saying that in a bragging way, but that book is like I had to do for the Lord. And I don't know if you heard the story there, but I sat on that. Listen, you got as far, if you're on the last chapter, you got as far as understanding that I knew it wasn't going to be flawless, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I sent it to an editor friend. She completely changed the flavor of it. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to go with all the flaws. And I can't tell you how even the flaws have encouraged people, because they said, wow, she still spoke and she still put out the message for Jesus. even though it was flawed. She is, so we're all flawed, right? So you really, really blessed me with that. I'm so grateful, that you were able to read it and that it touched your life. Thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome.
See, these things are worth $1 million, like just a caller like Juliet coming in. Juliet, what's your last name?
It's Seibert. My dad, Steve Seibert, he brought me into the Magic business.
Seibert?
Yes.
Yes, Seibert.
All right, I'm just updating it on the board so that we can make sure that next time you call, you're in perfectly. And it looks like it's good.
Did you say that?
Thank you so much for coming forth today to say that to Lynn. I mean, that probably means so much to her.
Oh, it just sees when you could see how the Lord can use anything, right? So were you saying that it was your dad that bought you the book?
Yes,
Who bought
he
you the
gave
book,
it to me. Yeah, my dad. He gave me the book
that's
for
so
Christmas,
awesome.
and I finally started reading it like a week ago. Haven't been able to put it down.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I'm so glad. And Jenny, thanks to Jenny, man, she got the book and she told the entire world about that book. And so, I mean, I heard from so many a lot of people have been through the same journey. But just like the book says, life's like a pineapple upside down cake. And, when you flip it over and let that sweetness run through, it's a beautiful testimony. And so I'm so glad it really blessed you. Thank you for telling me that.
I want to thank your dad for sharing it, too, because, once this affects you, you can think of people that would benefit from this. I mean, obviously, I think everybody would benefit from it, but there's specific people that you'll think of. It would be great to have a few copies in your hand that you could just hand out to others. So, and I would definitely suggest, just typing a great testimony over, on Amazon or wherever about this, because it definitely has to get out. Lynn, that's a huge message, that first book of yours.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. You're welcome.
Well,
thank you.
Juliet, I pray that life keeps getting better and better for you every single minute.
Thank you.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Me too.
I see a hand up at John Thomas, but that's been up since the beginning of the call. So, John, is there something that you would like to say to Lynn, or was your hand up by accident?
Accident.
Well, thank you for being here, and we're certainly at the top of the hour. So, Lynn, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Another outstanding call, and Cherie has some closing statements to make. I see her coming out too. Hi, Cherie.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody. So I know that Lynn, you talked about, and Jenny, I was talking about Lynn wrote. If anybody has ever not heard of her course, Living Larger, you can go to livinglarger.life, and it is that it, Lynn?
Yes, it is.
Livinglarger.life. Her course that happens once a week, and it's about developing yourself and branding. It is absolutely amazing. So maybe you can get in touch with Lynn and ask if maybe you could just observe the class one time, but it'll absolutely change your life. I know I have my team members on it, and me and my husband in that training, and it is absolutely changing our life and the way we're looking at our business. So thank you.
And guys, listen to Cherie, because Cherie's business is like exploding with her husband, so they tap into exactly the right resources to make their business grow. And they don't have a plain old team. They have a family. They have a community, and they fill their whole entire organization with so much love that people cannot not join in and hold hands with them and make things happen for their lives. So thank you so much, Cherie. You're an absolute blessing to all of us.
Oh, thank you.
Now,
such a friend. I just treasure you guys, and I like Jenny. I look at your team and I say, oh wow, it's just such a tight knit family, and it's an honor to be working with you and your team through this whole course process, and to watch you brand and look at different way. We all come at life from a different direction, and I have a direction, being in the businesses that I've been in, to be able to help people apply that to this industry too. So it's really a lot of fun. And Jenny, you did a remarkable job. Thanks so much for being here today, and just for being such a wonderful host. I appreciate all that you do for me.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And before we hang up, I have a 10-second funny toilets, tap, and trash story. And it's just before the call started, I saw a big load of laundry sitting in the washing machine, so I turned it on. And then in the middle of the call, I hear bells and alarms going off in my washing machine. So I ran over to the washing machine like, what the heck is going on? And it says there's an uneven load. So I looked in and I reached in, and do you know what had fallen into the washing machine? 6 rolls of toilet paper. 6 rolls of toilet paper filled in the plastic from the store. It must have fallen off of the top of the shelves above the washing machine, and my husband probably threw clothes in on top of it or something. And so it said there was an uneven load, and I go, what could be uneven? I pulled it out. So it's toilet paper, trash, toilet paper, tap water, and trash. Of all things, right?
Goodness,
toilet paper for this day. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with us. And you all difference makers have a fantastic day. Wade should be back on tomorrow, and we look forward to hearing his story and adventures in Hawaii. So Lynn, God bless your heart. God bless your soul. We love you so much.
You guys.
Have a great day. I'm going to put it in interactive mode, too, so that everyone can thank you. Here we go.
Thank you, Lynn. You are a blessing to me today. And thank you. Have a great day.
And also, Michael, thank you. Great reading this morning.
Great call.
Awesome message.
Great job, Jenny. Great job, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you. Truly a blessing. Thank you.
The moderator has left the conference.